I, at this point, want to thank Alexandra, Corneliu, and all the volunteers in here, because they are doing just marvelous job and everything is running so smoothly. So the Romanians are very good in many things, and so I am not so good, because this morning I realized that I only have half an hour because I was prepared for 1 hour. So, but I rely on our excellent person up there, our Europe. I think you are called Europe also because of the Europe Hall, and he is prepared to run through many of the slides, and I said next please, and so that is the title in some ways, that as I promised yesterday, that I am going to talk a little bit of unnecessary bureaucracy or bureaucracy in general. But there are certain things I was first going to talk about. Henry Mintzberg's idea, some of it, that what is a good leader and what is he or she is supposed to be doing. We skip that part a little bit. But the main thing is, and I also agree to that leadership is for the people who work for the leaders. Not the other way around in some ways, that if you want to have good results, as we heard just a moment ago, education is not the business, but everything depends on the people who are working in the schools, the parents, and of course the children. So that was the overview, but we can skip now. I say just next one. But that is the core of my presentation in some ways, that education is teaching and learning for life, as we heard just a moment ago. And bureaucracy is supposed to help those processes, not to be a burden for that. Do you agree? So that is because I certainly know that in some countries there is some unnecessary bureaucracy, and I don't name any country at the moment. Next one, please. So you don't probably see this because of the lights, but it used to be in many countries, or most of them, that the people from the bureaucracy came to the people who were executing the important things, like in schools, that you need to do this and that. Now it should be the other way around. People tell what the bureaucracy should do, what the leaders should do, and politicians. And the vision should be there, that you should go through the flow which is today, not expect something else like in business. Now we have the next one, please, and next one, and so forth. All these can be skipped now. Next. What is, go through all these boxes. And the thing is that in this, that we need the upside down process more than top down at the moment. We need both. Just next one, please. Okay, go on. Okay, skip that. So the main thing that in this is that we should have a trust, a mutual trust with, the leaders should trust us as teachers, and the opposite way around again, that we should trust the leaders, politicians, that they really know what is going on in the schools. Are you with me, or if you have any arguments against this, then you just raise your hand and say, I disagree, or questions. Next one, please. This is the school. There is the leader that we are kind of talking about, and the school education also at home. You as parents, many of you are parents, you know that the leader is born at some point. And he or she is not asking you what to do. She needs care, or he needs care, food, and so forth. And that is the starting point of an education system, nothing else. So there is the leader. Next one, please. Welcome. So the thing is that we have all these interest groups in education as well. We have politicians, we have the bureaucrats and unions and so forth, and they are going around the circle, and the focus point is oftentimes forgotten. Is this the case in your situation? You don't have to answer it, but in many cases this is the fact. We forget the focus point of a school, of the school system even. Next one, please. I just, at certain point, I had the pleasure or a kind of a possibility to ask some questions from the Romanian teachers that what is your opinion? And the further the arrows are on the right corner, 10, the better is the situation. And in this case, it was asked that what kind of national support the teachers and principals get from the administrators and politicians. And the other thing was that national administration is kind of developing learning and teaching in an active way. Does this remind you, or is it something that your situation today is or not? Okay, but the next one, please. This is what I have always tried to tell you, that or in anywhere I go, that trust is what we need. And the trust is not easy to achieve. And you know it, that it's very easy to break. You may build the trust for tens of years, and it may just break in one day. And again, when we talk about the educational system and how to develop it, the Finnish education system is not ready yet. We have been having the friendly educational revolution for tens of years, and it's not finished yet. So don't expect to have results overnight. Next one, please. I stole this from one of the Romanian persons. I hope that the language is right up there, but this is kind of a system that, or situation that somebody described, that you have in here, that you don't have enough support, but in Finland we somehow got rid of the unnecessary bureaucracy by just getting rid of the inspectors. And this is not to say that we don't need inspectors, but how could they work in such a way that they help the realities, they support it, and so forth? That is the question. Or is there too many of those inspectors and this kind of administrators? Next one, please. So, control less. You can have more motivated teachers. Do you agree? Are you for this, that you can just take the responsibility as it comes after this kind of situation? You are controlled less and you will be more responsible. I hope so, because that is the case that we lived in or lived through in our country. Next one, please. Okay, then I see that you don't see. So that is a person, a teacher draw me at some certain point of time that there is the inspectors are coming somewhere, many of them, and then they tell to the lady that just pretend, Miss Alexandra Anton, we are not here. We are just evaluating you and pretend that we are not here. So have a normal teaching now, and the children will behave as they do without us having them. So we go behind the scenes somehow. So this is not possible in some ways, but that's what I have understood, that it is often in this country. But I can tell you that in many other countries the situation is the same. I have experienced this when I was a young teacher, and I was wondering that what is this? I didn't see any sense in this at that time, and I don't see even today. There are some aspects that might be okay, but you should, as a leader, use different methods. Next one, please. In fact, I was supposed to skip this as well because of lack of time, but you have to remember that the friendly revolution starts from here, from you. And if you have innovations, and friendly revolution is one, there are not many people who understand you in the first place. But if you are active, you can come up with results, and your feeling is better, I can assure you. And when you have the early majority, like 1/3 of people are doing this, then it's a big movement already. You always have the late majority who are very cautious, and they think that this is something dangerous. Perhaps we run into problems if we join these people. But then there is another little group who think that any change is a problem. It's not comfortable at all to have a change. Although I think we all have a change in ourselves also. You get older every day. I'm not talking about ladies, but I'm talking about men. So, in fact, to reaching to the phase 2, you are, as I mentioned, you are getting close to the friendly revolution in many ways. Let's take the next one. And what we experience in many ways is that we look at things from a different angle when normally today we ask that what should we do? Should we have a new Minister of Education, and he is thinking what should we do? And how do we do it? We write some papers and paragraphs, and then we think that why did we in fact did this? And then you have a next Minister of Education. We should start from the question why, or why not do things differently? And then we should think of how do we do it? How do we execute this? And then we see what will happen and evaluate that. And that is the friendly revolution way of doing things. Next one, please. So I was then going to tell a few words, No, that's my fault. So about the Finnish approach, not much, but a little bit. Are there some of you who have been having enough of that already, Finnish experience? So is there a secret or not? I was talking about this in London some moments ago or some days ago, and we had a kind of nice discussion after the session in many ways, because I see that the English system also needs a friendly revolution. Like yesterday I was trying to tell that we all need it everywhere in the world, also in Finland. Next one, please. Okay, Finland has never ever wanted the percentage seem to be there, but to be the best in the world. It happened at a certain point, and we just wanted to get good results for the students, for the future life. Although some of the countries like Singapore was telling here that they want to grade everything and they want to have the best, and teachers have to be graded as well, and so forth. Next one, please. So that is the one thing that we have to have in mind, that I have always and often met young people who were not so good during their school years. But then when they come to you and they tell you that I'm an architect now, or I'm having this big business and so forth, it just is a reminder for you that you never should tell anyone, any little child or youth, that you are hopeless, you are not able to learn enough. The standards that we have in our school are not met, but just to give some good experiences for the child and youth, and we will see, because the results, the progress, it comes within years, tens of years. Sometimes it takes before a person is up there, up on the hill. Next one, please. We should try to achieve the kind of same quality in each and every school. That is not easy. That is not easy, sorry, the interpretation is not easy. Okay, next one, please. What do you think of this? Everyone should be treated equal, no matter of his or her family background, wealth of the family, political ambitions, and so forth. The child is more important in the school than the parents, although we should have a cooperation amongst the parents and teachers for the education of the child. Next one, please. We don't have university fees, but as some of you probably know, that at the moment those students who come from outside European Union, they have to pay some fees now in Finland. Personally, I don't like the idea, but I'm not a politician. Next one, please. We already heard that less is more. Sometimes that is true, but it depends on how do you execute the idea. Next one, please. In this graphic, in some ways, you are supposed to see that in Finland the school hours are not many compared to some other countries. I understood that in Singapore we have, or they have extracurricular activities in the evenings. In fact, I have seen those. And so you have a long school day, and then you go to another place to have some extra lessons. So the whole day is for the children to go to different kinds of education at school. So the pressure is high. Next one, please, and we can skip this one and go to the next one. Okay, teach less, more learning. What does it mean? What is the meaning behind that? Have you any idea? At the moment, please. That's one thing, of course. Yeah, like what I'm doing now, this is bad. So you are just listening, and I'm talking, and you know much more than I do. I feel humble always, as I mentioned, when I see professionals who I'm thinking the overall wisdom that I can see from here, it's just enormous. But if I can stimulate you in some ways, like one good point that I can give you, or give you for further thinking, then I have been quite successful. Yes, that is the thing, and of course, if you think of subjects, they are very artificial. The world is interrelated in many ways, and if we think of geography, biology, all these things, they come together, and it's a very artificial division to divide the world into subjects. So at the moment there is this trend that you teach themes, for instance, themes that relate to each other, and it's more important for the children to understand that, okay, these things are interrelated. If we just throw our trash here and there, it depends. It reflects, and it has some other bad things, processes going on in the nature and so forth. And you have to think of the holistic view of the world in many ways, or your local area. Next one, please. 5 more minutes, okay. We can skip and go to, because I have one kind of realistic experience and an example of how the bureaucracy can help the child and the parents, and let's move to that and just go. And next one, please. Okay, the focus should be on education and the little children. And the next generation, hopefully, is wiser and better than my generation, and so forth. Next one, please. So I'm just telling that when a child is, we are expecting a child at a certain point of time. What happens in Finland? The next one, please. We have this child benefit. You'll get some money, but we can skip that because the money is not the real issue. Next one, please. We have these allowances. Next one, please. And you have these kind of allowances. And then there is this Finnish innovation. Yes?
You were saying on one slide that all students should be treated equally.
Yes.
But if you look at education today, each child has different needs.
Yeah, but if you meet the needs of each and every child, you treat them equally. Because then if somebody is not good at something at this point of time, he or she may be a professor of that topic at a certain point of time, if you meet the needs. Yes, that's right. And some children have very different kind of methods and ways to learn. And that is the kind of difficult issue for the teachers to find out that how does each and every child learn. So before answering to you, I was just thinking that does this make sense to you, what you saw? Each and every family, when the child is born, gets this package. And it's to help the first few months to take care of the child. No matter who the parents are, they all get it. And this is, the box is also like a bed for the small child. Okay, so your question was that how was our situation? Do you want to have an honest answer? Yeah, before we started the thing. There were similarities, as I mentioned. The inspectorate system was out of this world at that time. And in fact, I have always told people that I was in a research project that we wanted to help the inspectors to be important, to change their way of working, to support the teachers and have in-service training, and if there were problems, legal or whatever problems, they could come and solve those things and help to solve those things. As it happened, we were very unsuccessful. There were a couple of people besides me. And I hope that it had some affection in this decision that we got rid of the whole system. Because it was also a matter of finances. Lots of people working for, in our case, for nothing. And that's my honest answer. The thing didn't help at all the schools, the principals, the teachers, the parents. It was waste of money. And therefore we had this project or process that we wanted to switch it a little bit so that it would be of help. And I'm happy that we were unsuccessful. But on the other hand, the paperwork that you are doing at the moment, and I have seen it in many schools, it's just enormous in here. You have to concentrate more on papers and paperwork than on the teaching and children. And again, the focus that I was telling you of the system is for educating and teaching, taking care of the children. And that is forgotten in most of the cases. This is not the only country in the world that has faces this problem. Singapore was having the same. And thanks, Europe. You were very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.